Jean-Jacques Rousseau's Social Contract, published in 1762, is a foundational text in political philosophy that grapples with the nature of human freedom and governance. Rousseau begins with the provocative assertion, "Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains," suggesting that although humans are naturally free, society often restricts that freedom. To reconcile this, Rousseau argues that legitimate political authority must stem from the collective will of the people. In his view, individuals in a society agree, either explicitly or implicitly, to form a collective, social contract, where they give up some personal freedoms for the benefits of social order and protection. However, this surrender of freedom is only justified if the authority that arises from it is established by and for the people themselves. Rousseau's notion of the general will is central to his vision of a fair and just society. The general will represents the collective interest of all citizens and stands above individual desires. In Rousseau's ideal, each person, while surrendering their individual will, aligns with the general will and thus remains free. This is because they are following laws they have collectively set rather than the arbitrary commands of a ruler. He believes that this alignment ensures that no one is unjustly subordinate, as all laws are created with the common good in mind. While it sounds abstract, Rousseau envisions the general will as a guiding principle for direct democracy, where citizens have an active role in creating laws and shaping society. For Rousseau, the social contract is more than just a political theory. It's a model for achieving equality and unity within a society. It offers a framework in which individual interests are balanced with the needs of the community, aiming to cultivate a shared sense of purpose and collective responsibility. Rousseau's ideas influenced revolutionary thought, including the French Revolution, and have shaped modern democratic systems, particularly through their emphasis on participatory governance. However, the challenge remains in actualizing the general will in diverse societies where interests and values vary widely. Rousseau's ideas from the social contract resonate in modern democratic governance, especially through concepts of participatory democracy and popular sovereignty. His idea that legitimate authority comes from the collective will influences contemporary democratic practices like voting, referendums, and public consultations, where citizens participate in decisions that affect them. Countries like Switzerland, where referendums are frequent, embody Rousseau's vision of citizens actively shaping laws. Even representative democracies reflect his influence, though indirectly, as elected officials are expected to act following the people's interests and uphold the general will rather than pursuing private gain. Rousseau's notion of the general will also shapes modern debates around social justice and equality. His belief in aligning individual freedom with collective welfare supports policies that address inequalities and promote community well-being. Social welfare programs, progressive taxation, and environmental regulations can be viewed through a Rousseauian lens, as these policies aim to balance individual rights with the common good. Rousseau's emphasis on civic responsibility further underscores the importance of active citizenship, encouraging people to engage not just in voting, but in community building, social advocacy, and public discourse to better serve the general interest. Additionally, Rousseau's concerns about personal freedom within society are echoed in contemporary discussions about government power and personal rights. In today's world, where digital surveillance and data privacy are pressing issues, Rousseau's argument for governments to derive authority only from the people's consent remains relevant. His work reminds us that for any authority to be legitimate, it must respect citizens' autonomy while genuinely reflecting the collective interest. Thus, Rousseau's social contract continues to inform both the principles and criticisms of modern governance, urging societies to find the delicate balance between individual freedom and collective responsibility. Rousseau's social contract, though groundbreaking, faces several notable limitations when applied to real-world governance. One primary challenge lies in his concept of the general will, which assumes that citizens can reach a consensus on the collective good. In diverse societies, achieving a unified general will is complex, as different groups often have varying interests, values, and priorities. This makes Rousseau's vision difficult to implement practically, as it presupposes a level of social unity and shared purpose that may not exist in multicultural or ideologically divided societies. In such cases, enforcing a general will risks marginalizing minority voices or prioritizing majority opinions, which could undermine the principle of equality Rousseau seeks to uphold. Another limitation involves Rousseau's endorsement of a somewhat rigid form of direct democracy, where citizens actively participate in lawmaking and governance. While this is an ideal for small, close-knit communities, it's less feasible on a larger scale. Direct democracy, as Rousseau envisions, requires a high level of civic engagement, time, and commitment from each citizen, resources that may be scarce in large modern societies. Additionally, Rousseau underestimates how difficult it is for people to continually act in the interest of the common good, rather than pursuing personal or group-based interests. In reality, complex societies often necessitate representative governance to address the vast array of issues, and even then, representation does not guarantee that officials will act in alignment with a true general will. Lastly, Rousseau's idea of subordinating personal interests to the collective will can lead to authoritarian interpretations. Since the general will is deemed infallible and just by definition, leaders claiming to represent it could justify oppressive policies, silencing dissent in the name of upholding the common good. Historically, this risk has materialized in governments that, claiming to pursue collective welfare, suppressed individual freedoms. This highlights a tension within Rousseau's model. While it emphasizes freedom, it can also be used to justify heavy-handed governance if the general will is misinterpreted or manipulated by those in power.